Hello and welcome to another edition of the LaLanne Pass It On podcast, where we talk to people who pass on Jack's message of helping people help themselves. Elaine, we've got another great guest today. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm really feeling great today, and I'm so excited to have Tony Horton on today. And I don't know, we're just going to have a ball. You just everybody don't do anything, just listen.
Well, as Elaine said, our special guest today is Tony Horton. Now, Tony is the creator of the best-selling fitness series P90X. And in 2019, Tony created his very own health and wellness platform called Power Nation Fitness, where his Power of Four workouts are gaining just as much, if not more, popularity than his past programs. Tony is also a world-class motivational speaker and the author of Bring It, Crush It, and The Big Picture, 11 Laws That Will Change Your Life. He has appeared on countless television shows as a fitness and lifestyle expert to promote healthy living through exercise and proper nutrition. Tony, it is a pleasure to have you as our special guest today.
Well, anytime with you, Greg and Elaine, sign me up. Midnight, I could be on the North Pole. You name it, I'll be there for both of you because I love and adore you both.
And we appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. I can't wait to see you at IDEA again. That'll be fun. It's like our little reunion every year. It's just awesome.
Right. You know, Tony, you are full of vim, vigor, vitality, and personality.
Thank
And I can't wait to get into your life.
Oh, well, yeah, it's been a heck of a one.
Verbally.
I remember as a boy when Jack was on our little black and white TV, and my grandmother and mother would be there with their chair and doing whatever Jack would tell them. And I would think, this is crazy. What's going on here? And then, and there's probably another story that we'll cover about.
Listen, I got to tell you, I'll just tell you one little story. Speaking about the chair, we got a postcard one time, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. This lady writes, Jack, I've been watching your show for 10 years and that chair hasn't lost a pound. I love that card.
That's awesome. Yeah, that chair was amazing. And I use chairs in a lot of my workouts as well. I mean, a lot of people don't have all the equipment. They don't have an endless rope, and they don't have a VersaClimber and a treadmill and a bench and dumbbells and a squat rack. And, the chair comes in handy, especially for guys like me. I'm in my mid-60s now. I need that balance a little bit. So I borrow the chair too. Still use it.
Yeah. Jack, in the hotel rooms, he used to take two chairs, and then he would go down, and he put his feet on the one and then the other, and then I don't know how he did it. And he would go do these push-ups, up and down. I don't know. Yeah. Jack, the chair might move.
But superhuman. That man was superhuman. I tell friends, because a lot of friends, I work out with guys in their 30s and 40s, because most of the folks that are in their 60s, they don't work out anymore. They just, I don't know, they're treating older age as if it's an opportunity to relax more and go on more vacations and not take care of themselves. I think I push harder now than ever.
Yeah, you know what? If people would realize, I had a friend who said, oh, I'm 60, she's on as old. I said, look, life begins at 60. You know what? I wrote my first book when I was 60 years old. And it was, I couldn't believe it. And then since then, I've written 7 books. I said, I'll never, ever write a book. But guess what? Never say never. Again, because here you are in love again. Da.
Da, 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 ba, ba. And, look, when I read John Ratty's book, Spark, the effects of physical fitness on the brain, and not only the physical and mental, but the mental and the emotional, I just know that when I exercise, I just feel better. I have a better outlook. The glass is half full. I'm sharper. I sleep better. My sex drive's still pretty good. All these things matter because of the oxygen inside of your body, right? Pumping through the brain. And when you do public speaking, you want to be up on stage and you want to inspire and motivate and educate folks, and you got to keep them entertained to a certain degree. I mean, I'm lucky because I did some acting classes and some stand-up comedy, some improv comedy growing up. So I feel very comfortable in front of a camera, in front of an audience. But without regular exercise, whether it's my cardio or my animal flow or my endless rope workouts or my treadmill workouts or going for hikes or just good old fashioned pumping weights, because I mean, that combination, and it's a 6 days a week formula for me. It will always be that way. It has always been that way, and nothing will ever change. And that's why, I think I'm doing pretty good for a guy who's almost 66.
Hey, let me ask you a question about that, Tony. You say 6 days a week. Do you have are you real regimented in that 6 day cycle? I mean, is it pretty much the same cycle every week, or do you mix it up and do different things? What does it look like on a weekly basis?
That's a great question. It is to an extent, and I'll explain what that means, but then there's also, I add a lot of variety and new things into it as I learn about new things as I get older. So typically my Monday is an hour and 10, hour and 50-minute cardio circuit. So it's a slide board, it's a stationary bike, and these are 3 minutes each with about 15 seconds in between each one max. Slide board, stationary bike, endless rope, heavy bag, treadmill, VersaClimber, rowing machine, ski machine, right? 3 minutes each. I go through it once and I go through it twice. I change it up by changing the sequence every week, because endless ropes, there's arms, VersaClimber, there's arms, rope, there's arms, rowing machine, there's arms. But on the slide board, there isn't. On the ski machine, there isn't. So sometimes I'll stack like cardio moves that have just arms in them, and then I'll have just legs, or I'll just alternate arms and legs. So that's a Monday. Tuesday, which is today, with the day we're shooting this, it's shoulders and arms, right? So I've got a tonal, and I've got bands, and I've got weights, and I've got body weight. And typically we'll just hammer the shoulders, and then we'll either alternate bis and tris, or we'll just do bis and then we'll do tris, or sometimes we'll circuit shoulder, bi, tri. So each week it's sort of the same body parts, but then again, like a friend of mine came in today and he showed me this move I had never done before. I said, well, let's throw that in, like a 6 position, arms out with weights, whatever, 10 pounders, out, front, up, back, out, down. That's a rep, like golly, on fire. And I'm always open to new kinds of things. Wednesday is legs and plyo. So, I try to leave the surface of the earth as much as possible. That routine, sometimes I'll go super slow. Sometimes I'll jump higher and go lower and decrease the reps. Sometimes I'll decrease the rep count and go as quickly as I can, like knock that out in under 50 minutes. And sometimes that routine, based on what it is an hour and 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And now what I've added on every other week, I'm adding animal flow. So I'm on the ground, I'm doing crab, and I'm doing bear, and I'm doing beast, and I'm doing this stuff that I suck at, but I love it because it's pushing the envelope for me. It's really, I'm working on my strength and working on mobility at the same time, which is really nice. And then chest and back, which is my favorite day, push and pull. Sometimes I'll do this routine called the challenge. You pick a number beforehand, like how many push-ups am I going to do for 12 sets? How many push-ups am I going to do for pull-ups am I going to do for those 12 sets? And we alternate push, pull. It's just body weight. Other times it's just weights. Sometimes it's a combination thereof. And Friday is always yoga. I teach the class. It's about an hour, 15 hour and a half. And it's just going through, vinyasa after vinyasa, more mobility. I love something that it's just the human body, Mother Earth, and Sir Isaac Newton's law of gravity. So I'm working on my strength, I'm working on my flexibility, I'm working on my balance, and it's also a mindfulness practice. Like, how can I go through this miserable sequence and not get angry? You know what I mean? And just stay in the moment. Saturdays is my day off unless I want to go for a hike. And then Sundays is the thing that you love, Greg, is my ninja rope climbing pegboard day. It's just climbing. Like we had one the other day. It's two 20-foot ropes. Sometimes we're plyoing up the ropes, max pull-ups at the top, and then plyo down in an L. You know what I mean? Like just pushing the envelope. And then we have the ninja course, which is so many different routes that you can do there. And I have 2 sets of pegboards. One's in an I-beam, so there's nothing for your feet. Your feet are swinging free. And then we have another pegboard on a wall. We have one move called peg, beam, rope, and return. So we go up the pegboard. There's a beam that supports the patio, which is now we're 20 feet off the ground. There's a bell we have to reach. You have to ring the bell. You have to come down the rope. You have to go back up the rope. You have to ring the bell. You have to go down the beam, across the pegboard, and then max pull-ups on the other side. Yeah,
Zach would be so proud of you, because he didn't believe in he believed in not too much rest between sets.
Yes.
Plus, you don't do the same exercise all the time because your muscles get used to doing them and then they don't get challenged. So
Yep.
a muscle needs to be challenged, and you certainly are challenging your muscles.
Well, and
Yeah.
another thing that I noticed when you're talking there, Tony, is that, you're talking about being open to new concepts and things. And Jack was always experimenting, not only with the exercise part, but the nutrition part. He was always trying to learn something new. And I love to hear you say that. The other thing that caught my attention, a lot of people, you and I are both in our mid-60s. A lot of people in that age range are afraid to do explosive or plyometric type movements.
Right.
And I love that you've got that in your program, because that's the one thing that you see more and more as people age is their loss in the power explosiveness. We have to keep those movements in our programming. I loved hearing that.
And, a lot of proprioceptive stuff too. Like, I mean, I do regular push-ups, sure, whatever, but I also do 4-ball push-ups and 3-ball push-ups. And I'll put 2 Bosu balls, flat side round side on top of the other round side, right? So there's this going on. And then I'll put my feet on a stability ball.
Yeah.
One of the moves is plyometric push-ups on 3 med balls. So the med balls are flying around. And so as you get up in the air and look, you're going to have to adjust and then go back and forth. I mean, there's what I love is skill-based athletic movements as opposed to these rudimentary, linear, Tony, how much do you bench? I don't know, man, but I can do 65 4-ball push-ups. I mean, to me, that seems, because that way I'm working everything from my eyelashes down on my toenails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A regular bench press, half your body's just laying there doing nothing. You know what I mean? It's more efficient. There's more muscle recruitment. There's more calorie burn. Giddy up.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of, it sounds like fun. This is more fun than just doing the same old stuff.
Exactly.
Bingo. Bingo. Elaine, you are so example. Like friends of mine, a lot of them will come here and they're frightened to death. So you want me to climb 20 feet in the air on 2 ropes and then switch my hands off the ropes onto a bar and there's like a rock wall below? Well, can't you put a pad down there? I go, no, man, that way you're not going to fall because there's a rock wall down there. Whatever. I have lots of friends in my 50s and 60s who have just peeled off. Right. They're just going to the gym and they're doing their elliptical for half an hour and they're doing their chest routine and they go home. And they're better than the people who are doing nothing, obviously. But I truly believe that at my age, I mean, look, I'm going to be 66. Am I doing this at 76 and 86? I don't know. But everything I'm doing is helping me enjoy my ski days at Jackson Hole as much as ever. I mean, I am skiing steeper, faster than I ever have. I'm a better athlete. I mean, sure. Can I jump as high? No. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, can I run as fast as I used to? No. But there's a lot of areas where I'm improving, and I'm improving in areas where there's so much skill. And Elaine, you're so absolutely right. There's a fun factor in that. And there's that camaraderie with your pals. Like, we're all cheering each other on, man, you can do it. My friend Vache, who's an awning salesman, he's been skinny fat his whole life. He came here, sold me an awning. He's been here at my house every day, 6 days a week for 2 years. And I watched him go up those 2 double ropes and do pull-ups at the top and come down. The guy was in tears because it took him 2 years. He had like a long ass learning curve, but I said, just keep coming. And he has a fear of heights. So he would go up the rope and freak out and come down. And then he'd go a little higher and then he'd come down. And then a month after month. And then this weekend, he shared that with his kids. He shared it with his girlfriend, and his mother like freaked out because she couldn't believe this kind of a nerd scientist kid is climbing ropes and doing pull-ups at the top. It's fun to watch. For me, it's like with Jack's part of his thing, which made him so incredible, is what he loved was watching other people improve.
Yes.
Not only physically, but in every other part of their life. Their confidence went up, their self-esteem went through the roof. Obviously, they look better as well. And that's it. Like, I mean, I was on Montana the other day. Within 20 minutes, 5 people stopped me on the street and said, I've done your program, or I love what you're doing. I love the new stuff that you're doing. And that's my reason for being is helping other people discover.
Oh, that's right. And you're helping people to help themselves.
Yep.
Do you ever swing with Greg, on those, and do you ever do ninja with a ninja?
That's what he does on Sundays, Elaine. I'm going to have to join him one of these Sundays and then
get yourself out here, man. You're going to dig it, man.
I would love that. And then we'll do some finishers on that endless rope.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I use my endless rope 3 times a week. I integrate it. It was, I put the tension on really hard, and it was just rotating, try 1 minute of just tight, keeping the elbows close to just that. And then like last night, our cardio routine was every version. We're 3 minutes of pulling as fast as we can with the tension almost all the way off, just rocking. The shoulders were on fire. So that simple tool, it's incredible, man. I'll tell you,
And
Lynn,
Jack loved rope climbing. He had a rope on his in the what was the boat? What was your boat called, Elaine? That he had the rope that he would climb up with his.
Well, he didn't call it was just a rope.
No, what was the name of your boat?
Oh, the boat. Oh, well, we had one health craft and the other one was green pea pirates.
Yeah, and they had the rope on there, and he would do his L position and just
right. He was outside our. It was a houseboat.
Yeah.
And outside the houseboat. Too bad I don't have that picture to show you right now.
I've got it, and I'm going to overlay it when we.
We'll lay it in.
Very
okay.
cool.
I'm going to lay it, do the overlay.
Right, Jack was a rope climber too, but you know, speaking of about Jack and the meeting him, I think that you ought to tell us how you met Jack.
Oh, my Jack, LaLanne, and Elaine.
And I was there, but you know,
you were there. Well, yeah, this goes way back early in my career before I, had this kind of success.
That's when you were young, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was still in my 30s and 40s, right? I mean, I shot P90X when I was 46. So I had a very late start. I lived in the same apartment for 21 and a half years, assuming that I would just cross the alley and go to the convalescent home. Thank God I was, whatever, figuring it out along the way. But I was traveling. I think I was in the Atlanta airport. That airport is just massive. And I'm just walking down the terminal, and then people are getting off a flight. And I look to my left, and there you and Jack are. I mean, literally, I'm walking like this, and you two are right here next to me. And I thought, and I had to go through that mental gymnastics. Should I say something? Should I not say something? Because they always say don't meet your heroes, because 9 times out of 10 you get disappointed because people are whatever they are. And I just said, okay, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, hello, Jack. I just want you to know that you've been a huge impact in my life. Thank you so much. And then go. Right. That was the extent of my exchange.
Oh, that's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. And then he'll never let you.
And then, man, he just launched in. And what the gist of what he was saying to me was, he was so thankful because, look, I mean, the impact is he's had, but he's created disciples along the way, probably not even knowing it. And I was one of them. And he was just thanking me for being part of this society, part of this community, being an ambassador to health and fitness. And we were walking through the terminal for quite some time, and he was very chatty. And I was like, for every second that he kept talking, I can't believe he's still talking to me. Like he's still talking to me, and I'm talking to him, and I'm talking about it, right. And then you guys were it was a connection, or you were trying to get to the baggage claim. I don't know what it was. And then you turned to Jack and go, "Come on, Jack, we got something that we got to catch another flight. Let's get going." And I thanked him, and then you were both so very kind. And I shook both your hands, and I floated all the way to baggage claim.
Well, Jack. You think he likes to talk about it. We had it every night at dinner. We had a $24/7. And he loved to talk about fitness. He loved to encourage people. And so he would, a lot of times when we would make a personal appearance, and he would walk into a gym, because a lot of people like to have us interviewed at the gyms. He'd see somebody doing something wrong. He would say, now look you're doing this wrong. You have to straighten, or you have to do this. And I said, Jack, they're waiting for us over there. They're just like I do with Jack. The airplane is waiting. Jack, they're waiting for us. But
I get that. Based on that conversation,
that person if it's the last thing he does.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and there's such good intention that comes from that. You know what I mean? It's like you see somebody and they're trying, but they're going to either hurt themselves or they're not going to get the results that they want. So, I always say the worst kind of advice to give is the one kind that's never been asked for in the first place, because your best intentions are received with resentment. So that is kind of partially true, but sometimes you just got to break the rules. Like on Montana the other day, this guy came up to me, and I had a black eye from a ninja accident. Like one of the rings flipped off and hit me square in the cheek, which is, whatever. About 2 months later, that same ring hit a buddy in the tooth, and he lost his tooth. It's dangerous out there in my yard, And so he came up to me. I was getting out of my car. I was going to Creation, which is this vegan restaurant that I love. And he comes up to me, kind of sidestepping, and he says, you okay? And I went, yeah, I'm okay. He goes, well, what happened there? And I briefly explained, right? And then and I thought he looked a little like he was nervous or weird or something. And he just said, change. And he looked at me and he went, changed my life, by the way. And he had a big belly on him. All right. So, because I am who I am, and I'm probably Jack might have done the same thing. I said, well, what's that thing? And I poked him right in the belly, right? And all he wanted was to say hello and get a selfie and bolt. But no. He was going to hear from me because whoever he had become based on having done P90X twice, he had let it all go. And I said, you've been to the mountaintop. You know what to do. I showed you what to do. So I don't know what that is, because now you're working in reverse. You have to decide whether you want to get back on it again. And the fact that you and I are meeting on the street just haphazardly, I think that's a sign. And he goes, you're right, man. You're right. And I'm so sorry. I go, you don't have to apologize. Just get back on it. Day one starts tomorrow. And I couldn't tell whether he was happy or just bummed out that I just didn't let him get away with it. But that quality in Jack is because I want people to feel what I feel at my age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was easily not maybe 50 or in his 40s. And, he wasn't able to get up a flight of stairs the way he was going. And so I thought, hey, maybe this unsolicited advice is needed right now.
Yeah. Well, and Jack, the name of the podcast that we're doing right now is called Pass It On. And it was because that's what Jack told his mentees to do. Whatever you learn from me, pass it on. And one thing I failed to mention in your introduction is that you won the Jack LaLanne Lifetime Achievement Award at IDEA. I believe it's 2016, but correct me if I'm wrong there.
Wait, where did I put it? Oh.
Well, and as he's getting that award, you can see in the background, he's got yes, there it is. The pictures of Jack and the albums with the glamour stretcher.
You know why I couldn't find the award? Because it was all by itself with nothing else. Over there's other awards that are mixed up.
Pull that down, show that award. Tell me the year. I think, was it 2016?
Look at you, man. You're the man.
There you are.
There, yep, 2016. And
LaLanne, you handed me this.
Yes,
your fingerprints are on here, by the way. I can still see your index finger, your pinky finger, your hand.
You know who's receiving it this year is Gilad. Gilad.
And long overdue, because he's had a huge
right.
as well.
He's beat Jack on right, Greg?
So Jack had a string of 34 years on TV consecutively, and Gilad broke that in 2017 and is now starting his 41st year. He's starting his 41st year consecutive on television. So yeah, he's well deserving. Tony, you are no doubt well deserving of that award. And I know LaLanne was thrilled to have handed that to you.
Yes, it was so much fun. And we did push-ups, I think, and
we did on stage.
Huh?
And LaLanne, I don't know if you remember this, but this is something that I tell everybody all the time that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And you said to me, if Jack were here alive today, he would have liked to have met me. And you also felt that of all the people who have been in this industry for a long time, that maybe I was pretty close at representing kind of who Jack was and the way I was able to disseminate the message and get it out to the world and the impact. I found out the other day that this month is 20-year anniversary for P90X.
Wow.
Which is 20 years ago. I don't know how that happened. And 11 million DVDs sold.
Wow.
Oh,
and that's that doesn't include all the streaming views at this point. So yeah, that's a lot of folks. That's a lot of change in people's lives. And the fact that I was and Jack was part of the spark for me,
Well, we're excited that you're going to be down with us at the convention center in Los Angeles during the IDEA convention, and we're going to do the Jack LaLanne jumping jacks, and we're going to break the Poland's world record of 2,251 doing I almost said
jumping
jack.
I know jackknives.
Jumping jacks.
Oh, we're going to crush that, Elaine. We're going to crush that record.
Yeah, but you know what we need? We need people to sign up because a lot of people say, yeah, I'm there, I'm coming down, or I'll do it. It was my group and where I live, but nobody, we want you to sign up. I mean, we need, to sign up, because how in the world we're going to count you? There's no way we can
Right.
count
Hey.
you unless you sign up.
LaLanne,
Right.
where do they sign up?
They can sign up on jacqueline.com, which we have a new a brand new website, but we
John.
want you to sign up down too at ideafit.com. So jacqueline.com, ideafit. But if you're going to be down there, we want to know if you're going to be at the convention center on July 12th.
And Tony's going to be on stage with us as we break that world record. And we had a cameo. Look who joined the podcast. John.
Who's that handsome fella?
Hello to his buddy.
We've been using the protein powder. It's really good.
Yeah, oh, good.
I gotta get the
It's
protein
great.
powder.
Are you, wait a minute, are you paying for it?
Well, yeah, I went
Yes.
and bought it. If it's good, if it's
I
that
was just
good,
going to have
it's
him
worth
order
it.
another one.
No.
Hey,
you
Tony.
have my, but by the way, everybody at home, like, do I get free? You have my email address. You let me know. A big ass box is coming. We're going to see you. Oh,
Don't threaten me with a good time.
all of it's coming.
Hey, Tony, let's go into that. Let's talk about your P4 nutrition, your program, all of that. That's a great segue. Thank you, John, for
Well done.
Yes.
Checks in the mail, my friend.
Let's talk about that. Your P4 program, everything about it, nutrition, exercise. Let's hear about it.
Well, you know what? It's really interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. There were two tragedies that had occurred to me. Number one was that I ended up with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, basically shingles in your ear, which is about the last place you want it. So, all the nerves that affect your sight, your smell, your taste, and your balance were fried. And so for 3 months, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't drive. I couldn't eat. I couldn't work out. I mean, like I tried to walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes and I threw up for 20. It was just a very tough time in my life, So as I was coming out of that, I was working with all the king's horses and all the king's men to try to bring me back. I had Bell's palsy. The right side of my face was paralyzed. I mean, it was just as awful as a feeling you could have. And a lot of the doctors said, hey, look, the Bell's palsy might not go away. A lot of people end up with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. They kind of deal with that the rest of their life. But I had one thing that basically turned me around, and that was the fact that I had a routine. I had a it was the physical stuff. And initially when I started to come back, when I started to be able to get my balance back and I could walk again and I wasn't nauseous all the time. I mean, I was like I could barely get 20 push-ups. I could barely get 8 pull-ups. I could only walk uphill on a treadmill. And I had ended up losing close to 30 pounds. I mean, if you're not working out at all and you're lying in bed, obviously you're going to atrophy. You have no appetite, right? So the pounds are just falling off of me. So I was very fortunate to meet with a group that, that understood what I was dealing with. And anybody, Elaine deals with this, John, you too, Greg, sarcopenia is a real thing. It's age-related muscle loss. And there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, it's just going to happen. You rarely see jacked 90-year-olds, right? But there are, nobody has any question about hydration and electrolytes. Nobody ever questions fiber. Everybody knows what vitamin C does. Well, we put something called HMB and vitamin D3 and chromium in this, both plant and whey-based protein powders. And it's miracle grow for your muscles. It's even, they were using it in hospital for a lot of people, older folks who are coming out of surgery, because usually you're getting like a ham sandwich and some Jell-O. They said, hey, let's give them some decent nutrients and vitamins and minerals that they need to help their body recover. And so that was a lifesaver for me. Also, one of the things I needed to do, and I didn't realize that I had leaky gut, I had IBS, I had all these different issues, because I was dealing with a lot of stress at that time. So they came up with this Foundation 4, which is a lot of magnesium, a lot of pre and probiotics, 2 servings of vegetables, just really good for your digestive tract, really good for your stomach, really good for your digestion. I hate to get it, but my bowel movements are perfect, which is nice as you get older. And a lot of these issues that I had are all gone because of these supplements. So we started to kind of mass produce them for folks. And if people are interested, they can go to mypowerlife.com, use the Tony 30 discount code that I don't know if I told John and Elaine to take, but they're going to have the Tony Horton doesn't have to pay anything code going in the future. And then that's tragedy number one, which created this amazing product line, which I used this morning. I had 4 guys here. I made a big ass shake. I made it for everybody. They're so thankful. I think they come for the shake, not the workouts. I don't know. We'll see.
And you know, it tastes good too.
It tastes really, I mean,
A lot of protein powders do not taste.
they just taste like, you know, like ground up hay.
Do you know that where the first protein powder came from?
Oh, I'm curious.
Jack LaLanne.
Wow.
We were sitting we had a health food store below his office in Oakland, and I had just gone to work for him, and so we decided to open a little health food store. So we were putting in all this whey, and we were putting in milk solids and wheat germ oil, and we were mixing it all up, and we drank it down, and we said, you know, this tastes. Jack says, this is an instant breakfast. Let's go over to my friend Mel Williamson. He's a biochemist, and we'll have him make us some. Well, we made instant breakfast. We were the very first one to come up with instant breakfast.
I don't think anybody knows that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then I should go over there and show us. Oh, can you?
I'll overlay it if you want. I'll overlay it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was instant breakfast. Then the Pure Food Drug came along about 3 years later and said, well, you see, Jack would never come out with anything.
Look at that.
Here's one instant breakfast.
Oh.
And then this is original. We had it in the can. Yeah. So there's John.
Do you get goosebumps when you see that stuff? I do.
Well, Tony, even better.
But let me tell you this. I want to finish the story, because the Pure Food guys, the drug guys, came around and they said, you have to take the instant breakfast off the market. Jack was out of town. I said, oh, we do? And he says, because you have mentioned instant breakfast in your pamphlet, your exercise pamphlet, and that becomes part of the label, and you can't do that. Well, that was then. And so we had to take it off all the market. It cost a lot of money to take it off the market, because it was in all over. So then Jack says, well, he said, we'll just come out with Reduce. So John, you bring the Reduce over here. And that's what we did. We came out with Reduce and instant breakfast. I think Carnation was doing our instantizing for us. And so then Foremost came along and made instant breakfast. And then Foremost came along and made instant breakfast. And
look at that.
So Foremost they were suing each other, Carnation and Foremost. And so we had instant breakfast up in San Francisco, and the rack jobber Ray Rawson was on the board, and he put in his stores, he put it in the stores and all around in San Francisco. And so he said, I'll give you $25,000 if you sell us the rights to instant breakfast, because we had the rights, and they were Foremost and Carnation were going at it in court. So I don't know what happened, but we got $25,000.
Well, and we know there's now Carnation instant breakfast. Where did that come from? I think.
Yeah. But you know what, though? One door closes and another one opens, and that's what you managed to do. You know.
And
the judge ruled anyone could use the name.
Yeah.
The judge ruled it's just a description. So that's why they got to use it.
Well, my second headache, which was worldwide, was when the pandemic struck. And everybody was stuck at home, and so there was no shooting of anything, and we were initially like, do we bring people over? Do we wear masks? Like, working out with masks on stinks, and so I ended up doing a lot of workouts online, just whatever. Like, I was, my friends, like the Sunday morning workout, they didn't have everything I had. I said, well, let's just do push and pull. Here's the pull up, here's the push-up, you know, and then we had like, we could see, you're seeing like the bottom of somebody's feet or whatever. And then I just started doing Friday dance party. I did Wednesday yoga, and I did the plyo routine online. And I started, you know, when you're keeping these things, and I've kind of rebroadcast them. And then we thought, well, why don't we do other ones and just put them out in the world? And it was just sort of a hobby during the pandemic. And that was the beginning of Power Nation, the beginning of the Power of Four. And now we have 8 trainers on our platform. You know, we've got subscribers, and I have 10 employees. I have seven trainers that we pay every month. You know what I mean? And I have a whole team that does all the media and acquisition stuff. You know, I mean, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I wouldn't have any of this stuff. I wouldn't have this extra income. So, you know, I mean, look,
One door closes, another one opens.
one opens. Exactly right. Yeah. How to turn a tragedy into success. It's out there for you, you know? And so, yeah, I feel very proud about those 2 things. And so we built Power Nation around 4 basic pillars. You know, in my opinion, I never had a mindfulness component to anything, you know, like meditation, breath work, whatever. My mindfulness was petting my dog and taking a nap, which I do both still. But I added all these other things, like, you know, I have a cold plunge now, and I have an infrared sauna now, and I foam roll now, and I have a Theragun, and you know, you have your rest and recovery stuff, and you have your stuff that helps accelerate your healing. So I mean, because at 66, you know, I have to do all these extra things so that I can come back day after day. I mean, that's 5 days a week. I mean, 6 days a week. You know, my recovery time is a little bit longer. I'm getting a fancy new mattress, which is supposed to help me a lot. That's in the mail. You know, and compression wear. I mean, you name it. I mean, these are all things that technology has taught us. And so as a result, there's a mindfulness component. There's obviously the supplements. There's also the diet, and of course the exercise. So there's 4 legs to a table to keep that thing up, and there's 4 legs to Power Nation and everything else. So, you know, I've learned a lot since, like animal flow. What the heck is that? Well, it's something that I'm horrible at, so I want to get better. I went to Solid Core the other day, which is kind of like Pilates. I had my butt handed to me. I was shocked on how difficult. I mean, 50 minutes of straight movement over and over and over on this thing that slides with springs and music, and the guy's yelling, and I don't know where I am, but I was just plain awful. But I loved the fact that I was terrible, and I was a little bit better the second time, and I was a little bit better the third time.
You're still learning. And you know, at 98, I'm still learning. And
Yeah.
it's exciting. But people sometimes give up, and
Yeah.
you're not giving up. You didn't give up when you had this problem. And so if somebody's out there and they think that they're the only one that had a problem, just get a hold of yourself, bring yourself up by the bootstraps, and let's get with the program.
Yep. It's true. And, you know, little steps, be the tortoise, not the hare. You know, a lot of people who have been out, maybe they were fit, they were an athlete when they were younger, like that guy I saw on the street, did P90X, was best shape of his life, and something happened between 2011 and 2024. And so like, oh, I can't do all that anymore. Well, of course you can't. You're how many years older, and you're out of shape. So you start, you do your, like, you know, I have a patented trademark, do your best and forget the rest. And that changes based on anything and everything, your sleep, hydration, barometric pressure, biorhythms, you know, whatever. There are these forces outside of ourselves that we cannot control, but we can control the one force, and that's us. We're the name for, you know, the force within has to adjust to the elements that are coming from the outside. And if you can make those adjustments, and you don't judge the journey along the way, and you accept what's happening, because what's happening is actually happening. So you have to accept that, because you can't alter reality. Then your job is to show up as often as possible, like eating, like sleeping, like paying your bills, like going to work, right? Like keeping a roof over your head. These are things that we naturally always do, and we do those things to survive. But I think most people, when they discover what the 3 of us know, we don't want to survive, we want to thrive, and that takes
Thrive.
Yep. Well, hey, Tony, where can people find out more about you? You gave us your website earlier, but let's give it to them again. Make sure that they can reach out to you and see all the amazing things you're doing.
Well, you know, you can go to powernationfitness.com, and you go right to the website and sign up. You get 2 weeks free. The Power of Four, my program. We just shot 2 new programs that are going to be released, one in July and one in August. One with Tasha Danvers, 2-time Olympian, bronze medal winner in Beijing. Her program is incredible. Ashley Cabanillas, her dance program, which is like, I'm not very good at that, but she's amazing, great instructor, awesome. So powernationfitness.com. If you're curious about the supplements, mypowerlife.com. And then again, use the Tony 30 discount code to save some money. And then if you just want to know all things Tony Horton, where I'm going, what I'm doing, I do a lot of live events. You can
Just
go
look up Tony Horton, right?
yeah, you can go to TonyHortonLife.com and you'll find my website there too.